At the beginning of Citizen Sleeper 2, I had no memories, no idea who I was, and no clue about the world I was in. I was a machine, freshly reset, a blank slate. Sound familiar? If you played Disco Elysium, you know what I'm talking about. Both games throw you into a world where you have to piece yourself and your story back together. And honestly, that kind of narrative gets me every time. There's something deeply compelling about starting from zero, with no context, no past, and slowly reconstructing your place in a world that feels alien. It's not just about survival or discovery, it's about identity. Who are you when everything that defines you has been stripped away? What choices will you make when you're not sure who you are or who you were? And most importantly, who will you become? In Citizen Sleeper 2, you play as a sleeper, a machine designed to work, nothing more. You are property, a slave essentially, and that's an important theme running through the game: ownership and autonomy. As a sleeper, you're owned by a corporation. Your body, your mind, your existence, all of it belongs to someone else. But at some point, you decide to run. It's a bold choice, but it doesn't come without consequences. In the process of your escape, you are reset, losing all your memories. Now you're on the run from your controller, Lane, and the game begins with you and your companion, Seraphine, trying to figure out where to go next. This dynamic between you and Seraphine is one of the game's strongest aspects. You're not entirely alone in this harsh, unfamiliar world. Seraphine is a partner, a confidant, someone who grounds you even as everything else feels uncertain. The bond between you two evolves over the course of the game, and it's not just about survival, it's about trust, vulnerability, and what it means to have someone in your corner when the odds are stacked against you. And let's talk about those odds. If you played the first Citizen Sleeper, you know that every cycle revolves around dice rolls. At the start of each cycle, you roll 5 6-sided dice. Sometimes you will roll a lucky spread, and other times, well, let's just say the dice are not in your favor. But this mechanic isn't just a gimmick, it's a reflection of the game's core themes: uncertainty, risk, and choice. Even deciding how to use those dice becomes a narrative moment. Will you focus on eating that day, ensuring your survival, or will you take on dangerous work that could lead to better rewards or devastating consequences? It's a constant balancing act, made even more challenging by the new stress mechanic. Stress adds a new layer of difficulty to Citizen Sleeper 2. Unlike the first game, where your dice count decreased as your condition deteriorated, here stress can cause your dice to break. And once a die is broken, you will need resources to repair it. It creates this cascading effect where every poor decision ripples outward. You fail a task, gain stress, break a die, and suddenly everything feels harder. It's a vicious cycle, but it's also incredibly immersive. This isn't a game where you can brute force your way to success. It demands careful planning and hard choices. Do you take the risky job for higher pay, knowing there is a 50% chance you might fail and suffer a really bad outcome? Or do you play it safe and scrape by, hoping for better rolls next cycle? These decisions feel weighty because the game does an incredible job of making every consequence matter. Contracts are another new addition. You take on these contracts to earn money, all while staying one step ahead of Lane, who's relentlessly hunting you down. Each contract comes with its own challenges and opportunities, and you'll often have to rely on your allies to help you succeed. If you specialize in one skill like endure or engage, you will need friends with complementary abilities to fill in the gaps. And that brings me to one of the game's most important themes: found family. Over the course of Citizen Sleeper 2, you build a little community, a group of people who have your back, even in the most dire circumstances. These relationships feel organic and deeply personal. They're not just side characters, they're people with their own struggles, dreams, and reasons for helping you. The idea of found family is especially poignant in a world as bleak as Citizen Sleeper 2's. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, connection and solidarity can make all the difference. And isn't that something we can all relate to? The idea that family isn't just about blood, it's about the people who choose to stand by you, who see you for who you are, and accept you anyway. The world of Citizen Sleeper 2, The Belt, is another standout aspect. It's sprawling, diverse, and full of stories waiting to be discovered. Some places are desolate, almost lifeless, while others pulse with hope or despair. It's a reflection of real life cities, the contrast between privilege and struggle, opportunity and stagnation. Some people in the belt are stuck, unable to leave because of their circumstances, while others are constantly on the move, searching for something better. This sense of contrast extends to the game's tone as well. For every moment of hope, there's a moment of despair. For every act of kindness, there's a reminder of the cruelty of the world you're in. It's a delicate balance, and the game handles it beautifully. I also really like the variety of the quests, aka drives. We have a drive on every station, and so I always looked forward to traveling to the next station, see a completely new area, meet its characters, and complete the drive. It's a cycle that keeps you playing. In one drive, I even got a sponsorship from a ship fitter. They offered me money to paint my ship to their workshop's colors and wanted me to become a flying advertisement for their business. It's such a small thing, but it speaks to the game's attention to detail. Every character you meet feels like they have their own agenda, their own problems, and you get to be a part of their story. And while you don't need to play the first game before playing this one, if you did, you are rewarded with some beautiful callbacks. You'll encounter characters you knew from Citizen Sleeper, and seeing what happened to them, how their lives turned out, it's both nostalgic and deeply rewarding. In the end, Citizen Sleeper 2 is a game about resilience, about carving out a place for yourself in a world that seems determined to grind you down. It's about hope, even in the face of overwhelming odds. And most of all, it's about the connections we make and the people who make life worth living. If you've made it this far into the video, I'm guessing you're a patient person who likes a good story. And trust me, this is one story you don't want to miss.